everybody, and welcome back to Worst Games Ever.
It's the show where we play terrible video games sent in.
Tom,
we've booked this for now. We're doing.
But it's worse. Look what you've done to Billy. It's Worst Games Ever time.
There's not even
We're
a
on the
booking.
form.
We don't have a booking system.
Did you not see the red light on the door?
Well, I think that maybe Thin Lizzy may suggest that we had booked this.
The booking system, I remember.
That booking system. We can play so many 2P machines.
Yeah, let's go do it.
Go buy yourself some nice sweets, or I don't know, an Ultra 64. Here's your wrestling news. Get in here, Sam. Vince McMahon will produce NXT. There was a heel turn and some big returns at the AEW Dynamite tapings. And CM Punk addresses the AJ Lee return rumours. We'll get to that in a bit. Well, this is a delightful start to the day.
Yeah, I can. It's like ever since I saw this news, I can just hear the end by the Doors, just ominously off in the distance. Just the opening, that's the guitar, just off there.
We punctuated this on the news podcast this morning by playing that clip from 2002 of Vince McMahon saying, "I'm gonna kill what I created." Play.acast.com/Cultaholic. Vince McMahon is producing NXT. This comes from Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Radio from last night. He said, I talked a while ago about how we're going to have a new NXT. It's going to be like the old NXT. I have heard from several people now that when they go back to live shows, this is going to be a Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard production. Following this announcement, RIP NXT started trending on Twitter.
Look at how they massacred my boy. No, it's this is it's bewildering. It's utterly
We're
bewildering.
in the bewilderness.
And I feel like every video I tend to just put my hands over my eyes in just disbelief.
Do you put your fingers into them as well?
Yeah, kinda. At the same time, it's.
The first show of the new NXT will be live on Tuesday the 14th of September in a brightly coloured art attack of a Capital Wrestling Centre.
Yeah, look, an explosion at a paint factory. I'm trying to find any remote positive in it, and the only positive that can come to mind, and this is how kind of startling it is, the only positive that can come to mind, other than the fact that Vince has booked some good stuff a long time ago, so maybe, just maybe, the 1 in a million chance pays off and it works out, or his interest in it leads to the creation of a lot more stars. But at the same time, just the idea of him and Pritchard running roughshod over NXT is
I think a bit of the latter is where we need to lean. In the sense that we're going to have more synchronicity. What's the business word?
It's synergy. There's going to be synergy
between the main roster and NXT now, because there was always that disconnect because Triple H was just booking.
But there can't be now though, because they want to make it developmental again.
Exactly.
So it's like you can't. Is it going to be, Vince McMahon production the way that I imagine FCW was a Vince McMahon production, where it's just broad strokes, like maybe, well, that's the guy we want, make him look strong. Is it going to be like that, or is it going to be day to day, week to week? And if that's so, then who's going to look after the main roster? Because Vince... What am I saying? Of course Vince can do everything.
Vince can do everything. Vince sleeps less than I do.
2 hours a night, apparently.
Oh, that's
2 hours a night.
Lazy. He could squeeze in a late night radio show.
I worry about it. I'm going to try and watch with open eyes and an open heart. And I'm going to try and welcome it when it does re-debut. But I ain't got high hopes.
I just think if Vince is gonna choose people that he likes, some of them might be good, and then you'll see them progress easier if Vince is tracking the whole process, rather than like the stars turning up on Vince's door and Vince going, "That's not what I want."
It's
you gotta be a gladiator.
Utterly baffling. Unless they're gonna go, you know what, Trips, you take the main roster. At that point, have NXT, Vince.
Wow.
Bruce, take it.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a good time. Let's head over to the AEW side of things. We had a return last night on the show itself. Anna Jay saving Ty Conti from an attack from the Hardy office. This is the first time we've seen Jay since she was injured training back in February. She was scheduled to be out for an entire year, a maximum of 12 months. So she's actually ahead of time on her return, which is nice to see.
7 months-ish, so that's a good recovery, that. Nice and fast.
It really is. And she's already been added to the Women's Casino Battle Royale for Sunday.
Yeah, and it's going to be a hell of a match.
Yeah,
absolute hell of a... I can't wait for Sunday. Can't wait.
It's going to be a fun night, isn't it? It's going to be a fun time. And it's me and thee doing live reactions. Not me and thee, but me and thee.
Yes, I was about to say,
is it? Yeah, get in, mate. Come on. It's live Adam's away this weekend, so it's me on live reactions.
Very special one-off, Tom.
Very special. Very special is the way that I have been described in the past. Also last night on AEW Dynamite, getting ready for All Out, was a heel turn. What's going on, Sam
So, it's not the heel turn you're expecting when you hear the names you're about to hear. So last night, QT Marshall went after Paul White with an entourage of factory students. Billy Gunn and the Gun Club arrived to support Paul White, or so we thought. It was a setup all along. As Billy Gunn hit White in the hip and the head with a steel chair, turning on him and ruining any chance of a Shogun's reunion.
You can tell I wrote that.
Yeah, you can.
Devastated by getting the Shoguns.
Yeah, so long as it's something interesting, I'm all for it. All for it.
I wonder whether it was just so they could put a heel turn and Paul White in the same segment.
Probably, but I think that I've said this before. If we're going to have matches between older guys, they're always fairly inconsequential. So at least throw something juicy in there. Throw you hit me with a chair. Make it a bit of a feud. Like, it doesn't need to be occupying every single space of TV every week in the build up to whatever show. But I'd watch Paul White versus Billy Gunn in 2021 just out of curiosity.
Yeah, there's a morbid curiosity with that one. So we'll see what that's part of AEW All Out this Sunday as well. Now, there was a whole batch of tapings last night as well for Dark and Dark Elevation. We're going to spoil a little bit of those now. If you don't want them spoiled, this is probably where you can check out from the video. Yeah, you can just skip ahead to whatever time the editor has just put in over the top. Sorry to create extra work for you, Mr. Editor. Skip to this time. Right. So, on Dark, they taped an episode of Dark. We saw the return of Riho. Yes. Nice to see Riho back. Just straight up, Riho's back. This is going to be nice and interesting. I think Riho adds a lot to the division, and yeah. And here's one. Max Caster turned up at Dark Elevation. So Max Caster's been kind of absent since the controversy surrounding his promo not too long ago, but he's back now. There's been a lot of kind of conjecture about whether he was going to return to the company. I know that he was selling some of his gear, or it looked like he was selling some of his gear online, and it was like, well, I'm not going to need this anymore. And there were talks of him, sparking up relationships and conversations with other companies. But it's nice to see him back. Yeah, I think he played us like a fiddle with all that. I think that was it. I think he was just told to stay away till the heat dies down, and then go home for a few weeks, come back, have some fun with it. And he returned to save Anthony Bowens during a match against Griff Garrison, helped Bowens get the win. So they're back together. The team are back together. The lads are back together. So those are a few things from Dark and Dark Elevation. They taped a whole bunch of stuff after the show. Good times had by all as per. Finale more. CM Punk gets ready for his debut on Sunday for AEW, his in-ring debut. But a lot of conversations are about his wife, AJ Lee. We've not seen AJ in a wrestling ring for many, many moons. And it was during the Kansas City Planet Comic Con where a fan asked Punk about AJ Lee, to which he said, I want to just say no, just because of her neck. The reason she stopped wrestling is because of her neck. She's got a bad neck, I wouldn't want her to jeopardise her health, and neither would she. So we'll put an end to that rumour right now. Yeah. AJ Lee for the Casino Battle Royale. When it comes to injury and things like that, it has to be taken very seriously. And if we were to ever have even a potential AJ Lee return to the ring, even for a one-off situation, you've got to know that AEW, if it was to be AEW, I think that it would be a case of very, very strenuous medical tests if she even wanted to come back at all. So, the ball is always going to be in the talent's court, whether they even want to come back. We might want them back. We might want them back more than anything, but if they're just not up to it, they don't fancy it, then nothing we can do. All eyes on Sunday at All Out. There'll be more news about All Out a little bit later on in the next news video. And for the latest, check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you, bye. Check out Triple Jump. Oh yeah, they were good, weren't they? That was fun.